October Craft Box. So let's just have a quick run through everything that you get with the craft box. Let's start in with all of this fantastic, lovely cardstock. So we're getting 5 sheets of this lovely crisp white card. Now this is perfect for a card base, for folding in half and creating your card structure, as I already have here, ready for my make later. Then we're getting all these lovely colours. So you're getting 10 sheets of these other colours of cardstock. Now these are the festive colours, and these just so happen to be my favourite colours of cardstock. And not just for festive makes either, because if you look and just imagine, you will be able to use these colours all year round, because we've got all those lovely different tones of greens, but of course they do fit in perfectly well with Christmas and with the winter seasons. So that's all the cardstock. Now, before we move on to the dies, because these are my favourite part of this box in particular, I just want to talk about a few of the other things we're getting. Now we're getting 5 sheets of our foil sheets here. Now these are really, really lovely. They are a different colour to our opulent. So these are a really lovely warm gold colour. So it's that kind of one colour that you're missing when you buy our opulent range. It's just that one step further, and it has such an impact. Just look at that colour against the white there. It just pops. Now the foil sheets are perfect for embossing, and if you're making anything for the outdoors, maybe it's very sturdy, robust, it's not affected by the weather. So whenever I'm making something that I think is going to go outdoors, I will use this stuff. It's just great stuff in general. Now I've prepared some of mine earlier just by sticking it to some of that white card, because I'm going to be embossing and I wanted to give it a nice sturdy surface, but we'll use that in just a bit when we get to my make. Now we're also getting some lovely glitter, and also some embossing powders. Now, what would the embossing powders be without the embossing ink here? This is the see-through embossing ink. You have a stamp set in the set that I'm going to talk about earlier. Always great to have a stamp set, but these embossing powders work perfectly with stamp sets like this, and I'll show you that in just a minute. What else are we getting? We are getting these fantastic hollyberry envelopes, which work perfectly with one of our die sets today as well, which you'll see in just a sec. And what else do we have? Am I missing anything? No, I think we've covered everything that comes with the set, apart from those lovely die sets. Now, have a look at all these dies that are scattered over my workspace here. Now these are all part of one set, so already you're getting your money's worth with this set, because we've got all those lovely Christmassy aspects. Now a die set like this I find perfect, because I've made cards in the past where I've just used 1 or 2 dies, especially on Christmas cards when we've got these lovely crisp white backgrounds. All it takes sometimes is 1 of these dies and a sentiment for me. But you've got them all. You've got them all to choose from. They all work really well together. But that's not all with this set. This is a die and stamp set. It's Merry Motifs. And here we are with the stamps that work alongside these dies. So these are the perfect size. You can stamp onto a piece of cardstock, and then these are all framelit dies. And you can see how the blade of the die comes right to the edge. So it's going to cut perfectly around that stamp, leaving a little bit of space just for that cool, funky, illustrative feel. Now the other die set that comes with this is really exciting, because this is actually a relatively new technology for Sizzix. Now this is seasonal seals, and you can see here that this is an embossing folder, but this is actually a switchlet set. And what that means is you can see these little magnets here. They're going to allow me to change the blade that cuts around these lovely embossed shapes. Now, I've got different ones to choose from here, and you can see they just snap on, and then that's ready to cut and emboss at the same time. We've also got this set here with that lovely scalloped edge. And then we've got a circular one as well. I'm going to leave this one in there because today that's what we're going to be using. Now, the first thing I'd like to show you is just how we cut using this switchlet die. So it's a bit like an impress lit die set, except you've got the choice of swapping around that design that goes around the embossed area. Now, as I said, I pre-cut some of this absolutely stunning aluminum foil sheet, and then I'm going to put this in inside my embossing folder, the shiny side up that's going to get cut. And then, as with all Sizzix platforms, the instructions are on the platform, so I know that when I'm embossing, when I'm doing a 3D emboss, I'm just going to use this plate here with one cutting pad, and then we're just going to take that through the machine. And voila! Have a look at these. These are so cool. It's called seasonal seals because these make wax seals. And when you look at how they appear on one of our envelopes, now of course you've got the cards that come with these envelopes, so we can add that inside. Designed to fit perfectly, of course. And then once closed, we can actually seal this. I'm going to go for this lovely snowflake seal with just a little bit of express glue on top. And how lovely and extravagant would it be to get a card like this in this lovely special sealed envelope with this lovely punchy gold that really stands out. Okay, so that's how I've used the seasonal seals, but I'm going to go on to my make using the Merry Motifs die and stamp set here. Now, as I mentioned earlier, all we do, we can stamp on our card, and when we've got that stamped image, we can use a framelit to cut round it. So as you can see here, so that's what the stamp would look like. And then we can cut around it with the framelit there. It fits perfectly around. Now I would actually like to illustrate that. So I'm going to open some of my stamps, put it on a stamping block. Now I'm going to apply the embossing ink from above. I'm going to apply it really well. And then we just stamp straight onto there. And you can see there is a bit of a residue there. That's just to help you see where these are. Now if I open one of these, give me 1 minute just to get that seal off. And all I need to do, sprinkle some of this over. And then as I pour this off, now this is where my funnel tray would come in handy, but have a look at this. There we are, and we're left with that. Now there's a bit of residue off there, that'll come off with a little tap, a blow, and then, oh, forgive me, I've forgotten to plug in my heat tool. Now watch as I set this. I'll allow the heat tool just to heat up, and as we come in close, it's a beautiful thing to watch this set. Have a look at that, and already all that gold is showing up. It's just moved into that one form, no longer looks like powder. Get the end there. And already that's set. Now have a look at this. When I move this around in light, can we catch it? Lovely. Now I could have made my sentiment from that, but as it happens, I've used just a stamp. Now all I'm going to do, I've pre-cut my card base. In fact, I've pre-cut everything here because we don't want to watch me just cutting dies. We want to watch me building a card make. So I've taken some, this is one of the dies that comes with this set. As you can see, I've cut an off rectangular shape there just on my card front. Now this is one of the dies that comes with the shape there, and this could be used to add baubles to the Christmas tree because the colours are perfect for that in this set. Or, as you can see, I've used them as snowflakes here. And all I'm going to do is just build up a little scene using just a few of those elements. And you can see here that I've stamped on the front, added a little bit of foam tape to make this part stand out. And I just think that those stamps, I just think the effect is absolutely lovely. I'm going to add that off to the side. I'll let that hang over the edge just a little bit. And then I've also got one of these candy cane elements. And I'm going to let this hang off the side as well, guys. Now, ordinarily, these colours wouldn't go together because we wouldn't have that lovely black outline. But as it happens, we have those lovely stamps that have highlighted that outline for me and allowed me to use those together. And then have a look at this sentiment stamp. And there we are. Just a lovely built up card, and that took me no time at all. So just imagine what you could do with these sets if you have the time. And I'll show you something that I've put together, as I did have the time earlier. Have a look at this lovely little Christmassy journal page or scrapbook page. These are pictures of my niece and nephew. And all I've done, I've printed them out and I've just built these shapes up around them. And I haven't actually used any of the stamped elements on here. But if I had wanted to, I wanted to keep it very simple. But if I had wanted to add some of the stamps, that would have just given it a different look, but still just as lovely. You can see on those candy canes there, I've cut a white one and I've cut it with some of that darker red, which is a lovely, lovely colour to work with, especially around Christmas. And then I've just snipped it and given it a striped look there to look more like candy cane. Those are those little bauble elements that I used for snow earlier. So you can see we're already getting the versatility, and I love a set where there are circles that are of different sizes because I think it just creates liveliness within that make. So that is actually it from me today, but I just wanted to show you how absolutely brilliant this October craft box is. So when we're talking about value for money, it's absolutely brilliant. And when we're talking about the versatility of the dies and just the potential of some really fantastic makes. So thank you for watching. Make sure you head over to the Sizzix website. If you're in the UK, that's sizzix.co.uk. And if you're over in the US, that's sizzix.com for lots and lots of inspiration, or head over to our Facebook page where we've got we've got some videos showing you how to use and just giving you some ideas of how to use this fantastic die set. So